welcome to episode 2 of this lockdown series. It's a weekly show posted every Thursday, focusing on themes of photography, books and bookmaking and design. This week's episode will focus on zines and small books. Zines can be a good form of distributing work of various kinds, so I'll talk about them in reference to an array of practices with a specific focus on photography. I'll talk through some of their positives and negatives, when I personally used them in the past and what for, and go through some of the work that I own by other artists, looking at various approaches and methods of producing these smaller books and zines. So I hope you enjoy this episode. If so, consider subscribing for weekly videos for the foreseeable future to help ease some of this lockdown boredom. Before we start, I'll get into the 3 shoutouts for this week that kind of tie into the overall theme of this episode. So first is Good Press. It's a small bookshop that is shared with a gallery called Lunchtime. They're based in near the centre of Glasgow, just on the outskirts. So they have a heavy focus on artist books and self-published work, different things of that nature. You can also send work to them to stock and they'll just take a commission of the sale, the rest of which will go back to you. That's how they kind of keep the shop running. I believe they're still delivering during this lockdown as well, so I will link their website and you can have a browse. There is tons of great stuff on there spanning a range of categories. So yeah, go have a look, maybe you'll find something you like enough to buy. Second is another bookshop. This is a smaller one based in the Barras markets in Glasgow called Ripe Studios. So they stock magazines with a focus on fashion and art and culture. So again, they're delivering throughout this if you get in contact with them via their Instagram page. And yeah, they have a range of very well selected magazines. Lots of good stuff again. The third is an Instagram and website page called Isolate Zine. So they're calling for submissions by any photographers currently working within isolation. Any money raised by this scene goes straight to the NHS, so it's a good cause. The first issue will be available to pre-order on their website next month, start of next month. So yeah, go check that website, have a look at some work or submit your own. It's all for a good cause. I'll link all the website and Instagram pages to those in the description as usual. That is the 3 shoutouts of this week. What would you define as a zine, and how can they be good starting points to potentially lead on to more refined books? The definition of a zine is a magazine, especially a fanzine. As much as the term fanzine slightly terrifies me, I don't really know why, it just does. The definition of a fanzine is a magazine usually produced by amateurs. And yeah, I think the word amateur is a good place to start in reference to discussing zines. Amateur usually in this context points towards something perhaps self-funded or self-published, which a lot of small books and zines in general will be. You don't really do it with the intention to make money at the start anyway. It's more of a kind of reliable, easy and cheap thing to make. But it's also quite enjoyable to do, and it is a good first step if you've never gotten your work out there to people physically, kind of going beyond just screens, actually giving someone something printed. It's a lot nicer, so it can be a good starting point if you are someone looking to produce and get your work out for the first time. Something I've done in the past is, if you've been working on a project for a while, maybe it's at a stage where it's a work in progress but there's a substantial amount to show, you could potentially lay some of it into a zine format and just get it out to people to start to kind of show some aspects of a bigger body of work or a bigger project that you're currently working on. I personally have a collection of black and white photographs spanning the past 2 years from just covered objects, focusing on covered windows in particular. This is just a weird thing that I want to do throughout my life, like literally for like the next 10 years. But in the meantime, I made 3 or 4 small 1-page zines, so only 8 photographs per copy. Just to start to lay stuff out to show work you're perhaps working on. You don't want to wait till a final, a big book or just a big exhibition or something like that. They're also just a nice thing to own. I have a decent collection of just past ones from friends and artists. But yeah, fun to make, easy and cheap to produce, and good way of getting your work out there. A negative side to them, I suppose, is just knowing when to move on. Sometimes you may find yourself with a larger body of work, something that you've been working on for a few months that's you've put a lot of effort into. If you were to show something like that in a cheap zine, then it would just take away from the work. It would maybe not show how much effort had gone into the actual making of it. You don't want to be kind of held down and restricted to them. Use them wisely and sparingly, and let them kind of gradually push your practice into evolving further. In terms of, if you're like me, someone that makes a lot of books, let it push you, and you can learn more each time, and that way your outcomes will get stronger. You'll start to be able to afford to work with better quality materials, and in return make more money off your work. Okay, so now I'm going to talk through some zines and small books that I own, just from different friends of mine and some artists. I'm going to start with the easier and the cheaper ones to produce, and gradually work up to bigger and higher quality ones that I own. Any artists and zines and stuff I go through, their Instagrams and websites and all that stuff will be linked in the description. Okay. So I'll start firstly with one-page zines. These are literally zines folded from one piece of paper. So this first one is by Alex Warner. So some colour photographs from what appears to be a car boot sale. So like many one-page zines, they're not stitched or bound by anything. They can just fold out flat, and you can print double-sided and have a poster in the back. So Alex's has this nice poster on the back of his, and yeah, it's just a nice touch. Second is another one. This is by a friend of mine, Georgie. It's called Boat Shoes. Again, the fold-out poster acts as kind of like a title and an introduction to what the work is about. When folded together, each page contains a shoe and a matching picture of a boat. I think she made this work in response to her dislike of actual boat shoes. In purchasing this, I must say I second that disliking of the boat shoe. Lovely stuff. Next is a bit of a step up in terms of just a one-page zine. Not many pages, but it will usually be folded from one signature, so you can easily staple it together with just two staples or stitch it together. So this one's called Here We Are Family by Eliza Coulson. It's a really nice 32-page zine, folded again from one signature, and it pairs photographs of a certain place with some scans of her writing. And the kind of hand touch of this goes really well, and I think it fits with the size and the feel of the zine. Yeah, the subject matter paired with the scans of her actual writing, it all just works together nicely. I think it's a perfect outcome for this type of work. And the last page finishes with some text to sum up the book, with her name printed on the back. Fourth is called Waffle Theory by a friend of mine, Rosie. There's not much to say about this, apart from that is her theory of waffles relating to everything you could think of. It's really funny. It's also really interesting. It seems to be quite intricately folded together when you look at the spine, but again it's held in place by two staples, and it contains multiple fold-out sections, which is a really nice touch. Scans inside feel like a kind of research type book. And again, the size and the feel of you flicking through this suits the subject matter, because it's a lot of small handwriting. You wouldn't want to have something like this printed massive, because it wouldn't feel genuine. The next is slightly bigger books, again mostly staple bound, but maybe with different paper stock for the cover or a different colour. So I've got two illustration based ones here. First by a friend of mine, Sasha. It's called Sinkholes. So got a really nice brown sugar paper as a cover, and some yellow paper with brown printing on the inside. Yeah, really nice drawings. The size feels nice in proportion to the writing, and a lot of the spreads are very busy, but they're like well controlled. I'm terrible with illustration and comics and anything of that nature, but holding and looking through this just works in every way. It's just very well done. Another comic slash kind of story illustration one is from a mate called Joel. The book is Earache. Again, it's really nice, like a green sugar paper as a cover and some good old white paper with some black ink. Really nice style of drawing, staple bound again with slightly more pages, and the size again complements how it's kind of all laid out as a comic. Sugar paper as a cover feels really nice in hand. Next is another one by Alex, so it's photos, colour photographs from a football match, showing with a mix of borders and some full bleed photos. Yeah, just really nice work. I think you can feel certain atmospheres about things from his work, and a lot of it's focused on intimate moments that you'd maybe pass by and not observe yourself. So it's really nice to hold, to kind of analyse further these moments of things that would usually be passed by. Look Both Ways by Effie Crompton is a really nice photo zine. The cover of this, plainly printed, but it's got this wrap around printed on both sides. This is full of just lovely colour photographs, all full bleed. Nice observations, a lot of it looks like it's been shot in the kind of golden hour dusky light. Really nice scene. Also got this for like a £5, so it's an absolute bargain for how nice the work is. Next is a book by the Kirkwood brothers called It Ain't Easy Being Cheesy. So yeah, this has some really nice textured paper. Yeah, their work's really funny. I would recommend it. Lots of drawings, lots of observational stuff, and some really nice colour photographs as well. And yeah, these three that I keep together is just a nice set of their work to own. So the last two are more substantial in terms of length. I believe these were both printed as bulk orders, for instance in a set of 50, so that you could sell to more people, hopefully get more of your stuff out there. So the first is Hareth, I think that's how you pronounce it. This is by my friend Jake. It's a perfect bound book containing lots of colour photographs from trips away. Yeah, it's got a nice matte cover, differentiates it from the slightly glossy paper inside. This feels like more of a proper photo book as opposed to like a kind of DIY zine. The paper's nice, the quality of the printing's really good, and yeah, it does the photos justice. Very nice book. Second is Pure Hell by Ink. I think that's how you say ink, again I'm not sure. Yeah, this is staple bound. It's printed onto what appears to be uncoated paper. It's a really nice set of black and white images, snapshots of various things, with some collaged bits as well, and some drawings. These two books are good examples of kind of using the earlier stages of the zine, I suppose, that could lead on to more substantial bodies of work, something that you could perhaps work on for longer, maybe pay a bit more in getting it printed and having them produced. Just really nice things to have. You can look back on them months later if you're needing a bit of inspiration, stuff like that. And yeah, it's a nice way of supporting artists, supporting people local or your friends. Zines, small books, all very good forms of that. That is all the ones I'm going to show for this week. That's episode 2 over. Thank you very much for watching. Until the next one, stay safe, stay inside, and I will see you soon.